Christmas is portrayed as a time of joy, good cheer, love, and fond memories. For many, however, that's not the case for them. In fact, Christmas can be one of the saddest times in a person's life, especially if they were a victim of childhood sexual abuse. Do you dread Christmas? Stick around as I give you some ideas on how to better manage the festive season. Hi, my name is Bruce. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse and I'm a Christian. You may not hear those two statements together all that often, especially from a male, and probably that's even rarer in church life, of which I've been in senior leadership roles for a couple of decades. So these messages are about bringing awareness, healing and recovery to all victims of sexual abuse, but especially males. It's about going from victim to survivor to thriver. Now I do wish to advise you of my disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, but what I intend to share is what has helped me over the years. Like myself, you need to determine what you feel is helpful and suitable for you. So, do you dread Christmas? For people who were sexually abused as children, they either had a home environment where the abuse occurred, or if the abuse occurred outside the home, it still happened during childhood. Well, if your childhood reminds you of the abuse or how unhappy you were at that time, then Christmas may not be the best time of the year for you. It may be a time of the year that you dread. So I'd like to share with you some coping strategies that have helped me navigate this time of the year. Oh, and here's a thought. Quite possibly if your country or culture celebrate things like Mother's Day or Father's Day, then those occasions may stir similar feelings of unrest. So this may be helpful in those times also. Firstly, and this may seem like an obvious point, but what is obvious to others may not be obvious to us until it is. It's important to understand and accept that Christmas may make you feel especially sad or distressed. Why? Potentially because of your abuse. It took me a while to connect the dots. I knew I didn't like Christmas. I dreaded it, in fact. Once I was no longer a child and it ceased revolving around getting presents. So I didn't know until I realized it reminded me of my sad childhood years, those years where the abuse took place, and I felt that it robbed me of what a normal, healthy childhood should have been like. So to understand that perhaps your dread of Christmas may be related to your childhood abuse, I think is an important thing to understand. At the very least, it may take away one more thing that you may hold against yourself. Things along the lines of, I shouldn't be feeling this way. Sound familiar? Next, if you can identify certain people, groups of people, gatherings, or perhaps places that you dread, then that may also be helpful, not only in identifying that such things distress you, but also in then giving yourself permission as to how you might handle those situations. Maybe it's extended family gatherings that upset you. Have you thought about not going to them? Sure, there may be pressure from them or you to be there, but you and your welfare is as important as theirs. Some families may not simply accept a "I won't be there" response, especially if the abuse is still unknown or not acknowledged. Going deeper into your reasons may prove even more unhelpful, so perhaps there could be other reasons that may be more acceptable for your absence. Maybe you'll be away and that is the only opportunity to do so. There are many ways you can avoid such gatherings that don't have to bring up your real reasons why. It might be a place you regularly went to at Christmas, and for whatever reason, that is upsetting for you. Again, if you'd rather not go to such places, then find ways to not go. Perhaps the giving and receiving of presents is something that may distress you. If that's a challenge you'd rather avoid, then how about changing the outcome of what that looks like? I know people who don't want others gifting them presents that they don't really need. Instead, they ask the person to use their gift money to donate to a charity that they might suggest. That's a great way of not offending a person who simply wants to express love or care through a gift, but it also helps you deflect a potential distress point for you. For many survivors of childhood sexual abuse, there can be a very strong sense of being robbed of a normal childhood, and significantly special times like Christmas can amplify those feelings and the sense of loss. Have you considered taking back Christmas? As an adult, you now have a level of control you did not have as a child. You may wish to consider what special things you might like to do for yourself to redefine what Christmas means for you. That might mean creating new traditions, things that feel safe for you, things you enjoy. You can give yourself permission to determine what Christmas does and doesn't mean for you moving forwards. I'd like to close with these two Bible verses from Mark chapter 12, verses 30 to 31. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbour as yourself. If you love someone, love your neighbour, you will want to help them, do nice things for them. Well, if you're to love yourself as your neighbour, then you ought to be doing something to help them, yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Do what you need to so that you can get through Christmas rather than dreading Christmas. Thank you for joining me with this content. It's always my intention that this helps you or helps you to help others. In addition to other content like this, I wanted to make you be aware that I have an introduction clip and also my personal testimony. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you are notified when additional content is available. I hope you join me again soon.